Hello, my juicy co-creators. Lilou here on the beautiful island of Kauai, and today I'm with Taj. Hello.
Hi, nice to see you again.
Yes, we're both back on the island. You were on the mainland, and finally I can interview you. I so loved our crystal ball session the other day, a group ball session. And I want to talk to you about all this juicy world that you have created around you and how you help people to heal. And let's start with those crystal balls. Tell us how they work. How do they affect us? I so felt their vibration, and something happened. Something was kind of removed from my body. What happens there?
Well, what happens is that we are all different frequencies. Our skin, our eyes, our lungs, teeth, everything has a different frequency. And the bowls are made of different minerals and gems. And each of those have a frequency that it carries. And when they're made into these bowls, it creates a sound. And the sound has a frequency. So you have a note, A through G, and all the sharps, and a lot in between, because the bowls are not made perfectly. When they make them, and they say it's an A sharp, it may be an A sharp plus 10 diopters or minus 15, so it's not exactly perfect, but it's perfect for us. Mm-hmm. Because when they're struck or rung, you hit the side, or you take your stick and go around the edge, it creates more than one note. Because you may get an A in an A bowl, but when you ring it, it has a range of maybe all 12 notes. And so since we vibrate at certain frequencies, the vibration of the bowls act to balance the frequencies that are out of balance within us. And that could be mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual. And because we have a field, right, a vibrational field, that we can even measure, that the bowls affect the field as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
and what's phenomenal is that when you add another bowl, and then each bowl actually resonate differently depending on the person that is there and how they're playing between each other
and how they're feeling. So, if I was doing a session, I have a sound room in my sanctuary, and it has 22 bowls in it. So I might play, let's say you showed up and we did a session and you've got, something going on because you're stressed out from running around the world, and then someone else comes in and I play the same bowls for both of you. They will ring completely differently because your issue could be completely different, whether it's your heart or it's your lungs or, your liver because you've got angry that day. You never know what it is. So you can't really even pick a bowl based on this note. It resonates through the chakras. Now the chakras have a sound, a note that's connected to them, like it's starting at the root. It's C, D, E, F is the heart, F sharp is the high heart, G, A, and B. And the issue may be a heart issue, but the heart issue may have started because you got angry or you had intense fear, which would be your liver and your kidney, based on Chinese medicine. So I incorporate a lot of different types of medicine within my own energy medicine as well.
How do you go about it though? How do you follow just your intuition, and it's like you're in this special state of mind when you play? How do you know which bowl to play?
That's a good question. I listen. And it is an intuition in a sense, but I listen to the person. I listen to what their issue is, and then I listen to my inner guidance and hear where to place the bowl, because I put the bowls on people. So they might have a bowl on their belly or their chest or one by their head. And so you do just listen. And just from experience, I've been doing it for 5 years. I have been able to listen in a way that seems very effective for people. And the same with the tuning forks, because the tuning forks have 12 notes, and I use the tuning forks like acupuncture needles, and so they have all the sharps, and there's no chart on placing a tuning fork in an A minor on a liver meridian. You just have to really feel the person. And it can be taught too. It can be taught because we learn how to listen.
Yes. And are there some people that are more sensitive than others?
Oh, yes, definitely. Lots of people you touch one spot that maybe to somebody else they wouldn't even notice, and they can feel the vibrational frequency go all the way up and maybe out their hand. So.
And this is more than imagination.
Oh, it's not imagination at all. No, it's really real. So like an acupuncture needle, a lot of people are afraid of needles and don't realize that the needle just barely goes in and it opens up an energy almost like a little vortex, and releases the energy out if it's blocked, or pulls energy in so that you have access to more. So when you're using a tuning fork, which has no pain at all, it resonates in the bone. So if I put one on your knee, let's say, where there's a lot of bone, you would hear it right in your ear. And we may not hear it at all, but you would hear it because the bones carry the resonance all the way up into the ears.
Gosh, I have to try that.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Is there, I know you're passionate about autistic child. Is there, and you're saying they're particularly sensitive to those sound healing modalities, aren't they?
Yeah, I get chills. My whole body's getting chills as you're saying this. I did a group here the first time I worked with an autistic child, and I had 5 children here last Christmas. And I was playing the alchemy bowls, and in particular a bee, which is a crown chakra bowl out of blue gold. And there was a very severely autistic child here with his dad, and he couldn't get relaxed at all. And his dad brought him in and just sat him down. And when I played that bowl, it was so amazing. His energy just completely calmed down, and he took his hands and reached out for the bowl. I was like 5 feet away, and put his hands above the bowl and started doing like this, like he was playing with the notes coming out of the bowl. And it just totally relaxed him. And there was a woman sitting in front of me on the couch, and she had tears running down her face as she was watching him. And when we were done, she and I were talking, and what we both felt was that the sound was bridging the gap between the high frequency of where they live. The autistic beings coming in are 5th dimensional beings, and they're in such a high frequency, and bridge the gap between where they live and the overstimulated world that is here. And they have to descend into form. Like we're all trying to ascend, into our higher selves, right? So that there's no bridge between it. We are that. Well, they have to descend from that high frequency into the physical body. And the autistic body is challenging. It's very, very challenging. And they're here to teach us love. That's all they're here to do. And to teach their families that they're not broken. And they can't fit a square peg into a round hole. It's that we have to create a new way for that peg to be on this planet. Yeah, it's so amazing. And the gift that I receive when I work with these children is just, it's just really heartwarming and challenging. I see, what their parents have to go through. But the bowls are so amazing too, because they just put all of us into this expanded state. Yeah. And we can access so much more of who we are. And one of the things that I learned, that the bowls are anchoring in not just a vibrational frequency, but also the frequency of different beings. Yeah. And we're meant to, as we move into a crystalline being that we are, these bowls are activating keys inside of us that are stimulating our crystalline form to come into reality and expand our consciousness and be who we're meant to be.
I know you work a lot also with the pineal gland. Can you tell us more what it is, and first, what is its role and why is it so crucial right now?
Well, the pineal gland, like the hypothalamus and the pituitary, are really important glands in our body. But the pineal gland, especially right now, it's connected to the third eye and to expanded consciousness. And the work that I've been doing, because I do hands-on work, I do cranial sacral work, and I use the tuning forks also for that. And my experience in the last year has been, as the pineal gland gets activated, and I had an experience with the bowls in a group, and I had channeled a meditation that was based on a Tom Kenyon Hathor meditation. And what I was seeing as I was working with people was that as the pineal gland gets stimulated, and it looks like a little cone, it looks like a pine cone. And when you put pine cone or pinyon pine essential oil on the occiput, which is about outside where the pineal gland is, and then you put corn mint or peppermint. Corn mint is a menthol, and mints push the oil that's under it in. It stimulates something in the pineal gland, and what I was seeing energetically was that a drop of nectar or amrita, and it's energetic, is being released. And what it's doing is it's relaxing the barrier between the left and the right side of the brain. And the new children that are coming in, even though it looks like they have the same brain that we do, they don't have the barrier, that there's no separation. And part of consciousness is to merge the divine feminine and masculine. Well, we have the right and left hemisphere, right, which is, they have different qualities. And so when that is released, then we won't have to be thinking, oh, this side of my brain or this side of the brain. It'll be merged into one. Mm-hmm. And the activity won't have to go from here to here. It'll just be thinking all the same way at the same time. So it's so powerful what's happening. And as I was seeing these things, all of a sudden I'm meeting people who are talking about very similar information coming in from their downloads, through their channels. And so it's always been nice validation when you hear it after you've experienced for yourself and for your clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you discover and add new things? Because to me, you're a grounded person and you have this right balance. And that's one of the reasons I love Kauai too, because I find a lot of people like that have this great balance between still being on earth and living this earthy life and yet having the spiritual qualities and this open-heartedness and following the intuition and the guidance from spirit. I mean, how did this all journey unfold, and how are the elements, the different components, or your own journey amplifying?
Wow, that's a very powerful question.
For a very powerful woman.
Well, I've been really grounded in a lot of ways. I own 2 restaurants in Honolulu, but my husband got very ill when I was 9 months pregnant with our second child, and he had like a stroke. And I had already been involved in self-awareness work, but I hadn't been involved with healing per se. It was more like emotional work. And at that point, there was nothing that anyone could do to help him. He was in the hospital and they were trying all these things. And I had to surrender. I mean, I cried every day, but I had to surrender to God because there was nothing I could do. And in that surrender, it opened something up inside of me. And then other things happened later on, and I was able to experiences here on Kauai. And Kauai is so powerful for opening you up. So anyone listening, this is a very powerful place.
And just a little side note, there's a bed and breakfast here too. So in case, how's it called? Anahata Spiritual B&B. So there you go.
So I had something happen, and eventually I was able to put my hands on rocks and hear and see stories. And so I had to balance those two between being a business person and then having these incredible experiences. And so I think that was a huge way that I was able to stay grounded. And now being grounded lets you go even further in your spiritual growth, even in your experiencing wild things, because your heart's not palpitating and you're not, like just out in the stars. And what I do is very galactic, right? The bowls are very angelic and very galactic. And being anchored here, knowing that, okay, I'm really here to help people here. I'm not here to, I'm here to ascend energetically, but I'm not leaving the planet. That's not my plan. I'm here to be here and help people here. And so you had that experience with the bowls, and we had Toby. Was Toby here when you were here?
I know there was Tiffany that was playing the harp and singing.
I do another thing with a guy named Toby Christensen, and he's a djembe player. And that is really the earth. He's drumming, and the bowls are on the floor, and I'm in the middle, and everyone's laying with their head towards the bowls, and he's drumming, and he drums this technique from Burkina Faso. And so he's really, the energy of the mother, and I'm the energy of the angelic realms. And so it comes in and it is just so amazing,
It's important to merge the two, I feel. This is where we're all at.
Yeah, I think so too.
Wonderful. And I know you also have a radio show, and
I know this is so fun being on your show, because I just had my show today.
Yeah.
It's called Transformational Tea with Taj, Ways to Inner Peace. And it's on Sundays on KKCR, on Kauai, or kkcr.org.
So how do you find time to do all of these things?
That was part of helping me to go out from being just one-on-one with people to being able to share my gift with more people. So it's still, like, I was really afraid to be in public. So the radio station is not really public. It's like you and I are having this conversation. And so it reaches many people, but the dynamic is just us having fun, having a talk. Yeah.
How did meeting Mark and your partner has opened you up further to all of this work beyond his disease?
Well, that was my husband before, and my husband passed away. So then I met my new partner, Mark, 7 years ago this year. Yeah. And actually, I had never met anyone that was so willing to do spiritual work on themselves. I never met a man that was really willing to do it and not just talk about it. And so he has been, really amazing for me, and he supports what I do. And what I do is not easy for people, because now I travel every 2 months to the mainland, and I've gone to Europe, and traveling seems like a lot more of what I'm going to be doing. So I'm here
to teach,
and to share. And so he's really supportive, and it's not easy to find someone who's, anchored enough in themselves as a man to let you go do that, even though he couldn't let me. But it's that synchronous relationship, and he does healing also, so that's really wonderful. So we can do things together. We do this technique called haha vela, which is an ancient Hawaiian technique that's hasn't been out there really to the public, but it's a wonderful physical and emotional technique release.
Wonderful. Is there something else that you would like to share, that you're passionate about, that you feel is important? I know you also do hypnotherapy, but there must be something on your heart that I feel should be said right now.
Well, one of the things that we actually talked about today on the radio was, people are interested in positive thinking and understanding the law of attraction. And it goes much deeper than positive thinking. And you brought up hypnotherapy because that's one of the tools. And there are many tools, but you have to change your belief system. So if you, say all the affirmations that you want to create what you want, it's wonderful. But if deep down you have an issue that says, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve it, there's no way I'll ever make money, I can't do this, and that's somewhere stuck in the program, all the affirmations in the world will not give you what you want. It's changing that belief system. And when we understand that we create everything, that we're the ones that set this whole program up, we made this whole dance to take us to different lessons, then it's a way to be able to relax and accept what you've done in the past, who you've been, and go to a deeper level. And that's the thing about hypnotherapy. It helps you to find the root cause, the initiating moment for those limiting beliefs. And, we all know what they are, and we usually don't want to acknowledge that we have some limiting thing that's taking us into the same relationship over and over, or the same kind of job, even though we feel like I want to move out. It's just a program, and it can be released, it can be relaxed. Past life regression sometimes happens, just, working on finding the core issue, and you can work through feeling. You don't even have to work through memories. So there's so many wonderful ways.
And it's faster than ever.
Oh my gosh, it's so great. I mean, you're not doing psychotherapy or psychiatry. It's like 3 sessions and you're complete with that issue. Yes. But one thing that is really important, and I know you know this one already, but once you release something, you have to anchor in the new pattern. Right. And so anchoring in doesn't mean that, I had this great experience and now I'm going to be changed. No, it means like, what was it that changed, and how are you going to practice that change every time you come up to the same situation? Yeah. And that's a practice. And one of the things that I teach is, every night before you go to bed, you review that day and see what didn't work and replay it. And that is really a powerful way of how we change. Because when you think about it, how long did it take you to learn to brush your teeth before you left the house? How many years?
I don't know. I have really known. This is a long time ago.
I don't know, like 7, before your mom didn't have to say it. Well, now we're 30, 40, 50, 60. Yeah. And so it won't happen in one event, but it can happen much, much faster because our desire to heal is so strong.
What is for you the ascension to love? What is it? How do you see it?
The ascension to love is to be able to be unconditional love in every moment, to be able to be in service. It's really, for me, it's about service, to be able to serve others. And in that, you're serving yourself by being an example of your divine God nature.
On this planet.
On this planet, yeah, because we're not, I'm not ready to leave. I'm definitely here. And the more, my prayer since like 1993 was to be a clear channel for God's love to work through me. And, I still have times when that's not it, when I've, been challenged, but more and more and more, it is it is working and it's resonating, and I'm allowed to be able to help people.
Juicy. Well, thank you so much, Taj. I'm so happy you get to spend this moment and get to know each other a little bit better through this interview, and that we can share this with the world. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here.
And thank you to the little rock cat here that we have. Well, much love, my beautiful co-creators from the island of Maui, the magical, mystical island of Kauai.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Aloha.
Aloha. So if you come back into your body, how did that make you feel?
I feel so relaxed. Like I'm in the meditative mode. I feel so relaxed right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many thoughts.
And when
And I felt like it was balancing both sides and spiraling.
Great. That's so wonderful. And it was just a short 5 minutes. So imagine in a full session
Yeah,
what can happen.
I feel light.
Okay, so we're going to pretend that's off and I'm going to play a couple for you, okay? Because these are really loud.